Eclipses are the universe's way of saying it's time. Time to let go, time to reset, time to step onto the path you were always meant to walk. They shake us, they strip away illusions. And yes, they can break our hearts, but they also realign us with our soul's purpose in ways nothing else can. In today's episode, we're diving into the power of eclipse season, why it feels so intense, how to prepare for it, and how these cosmic resets can completely change your life. Aloha, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Ocean Moonflower Show. I'm your host, Ocean Moonflower, intuitive guide, Reiki master, shamanic practitioner, and your cosmic sister on this beautiful path we walk together. I want you to take a breath with me as we begin. Inhale very deeply and exhale slowly. Let yourself land here because today's episode is a big one. We're diving into one of the most powerful and transformational cycles in astrology, eclipse season. Eclipses are these magical moments when the universe shakes things up, endings arrive, beginnings unfold, truths get revealed, and destiny shifts us onto a brand new track. They're not easy, but they are profound. If lately you've been feeling unsettled, emotional, or like something big is just over the horizon, I want you to know you're not imagining it. Eclipse energy is here, and it has a way of stirring us to the very core. So today, I want to walk with you through what eclipses mean, why they feel so intense, and how you can prepare your soul to move through them with more grace, more wisdom, and more trust. And along the way, I'll share my own story of how an eclipse ended the most significant connection of my life, my twin flame journey, and how that reset changed me forever. So let's start with what eclipses actually are in astrology. Astronomically, an eclipse happens when the sun, moon, and earth align in such a perfect way that one casts a shadow over the other. But in astrology, we go deeper. We see eclipses as cosmic events tied to the lunar nodes. The North Node, which represents where our soul is heading, our destiny, and the South Node, which shows what we've carried from the past, what we must release. That's why eclipses are never random. They occur in pairs or clusters along the axis of the nodes, and that's why they often feel like fate itself is stepping in. When we experience a solar eclipse, which always happens at a new moon, it's like the universe saying, here's a brand new chapter. Here's a door opening that you didn't expect, but your soul has been waiting for. And then when we experience a lunar eclipse, which at the time of this recording is occurring in just a few days, lunar eclipses always happen at a full moon. It's like spirit putting a spotlight on what needs to close, what needs to be released. Sometimes it's an external ending, a relationship, a job, a chapter in your life. Other times it's an inner ending, letting go of a belief, a wound, or a pattern that has defined you for far too long. And the wild thing about eclipses, they speed up time. What normally might take years to unfold can happen in just weeks or even days during an eclipse cycle. Screw that, it could happen in minutes. That's why people often say, wow, everything changed so fast. It's because eclipses are cosmic accelerators. Now let's talk about why eclipses feel so incredibly intense, emotionally, physically, spiritually. The biggest reason is that eclipses bypass the ego. You cannot control them. You cannot manifest your way around them. They are direct intervention from the cosmos. You might have noticed in your own life during eclipse season that things you thought were stable suddenly shift. Relationships reach breaking points. Jobs end abruptly. Secrets become revealed. And it can feel like a rug is being pulled out from under you. But here's the truth: eclipses never take what is meant for you, they only clear what has served its purpose or what is standing in the way of your higher alignment. I like to call this cosmic gardening. Imagine your soul as a beautiful garden. You've planted flowers, herbs, trees, but weeds grow too. And maybe you've gotten used to those weeds. You walk around them every day. You pretend they're not choking out the flowers. But the universe sees them, and the universe knows they're holding you back. And during an eclipse, the universe grabs those weeds, pulls them out, roots and all. It may feel harsh in the moment, but what comes after is more sunlight, more space, and more room for your soul to bloom. Another reason eclipses feel heavy is because they trigger shadow work. We talked about shadow work on a previous podcast. Old fears, insecurities, and wounds surface. And that's because spirit is shining a flashlight into the corners of your soul. What you haven't wanted to see, what you've been ignoring, suddenly can't be ignored anymore. So if you're crying more, if you feel restless, or if your dreams are vivid and strange, that's eclipse season moving through you. Let it come, don't resist it. Because what surfaces now is what needs healing the most. So, how do we actually prepare ourselves for eclipse season? I want to start by saying this: eclipse season is not about doing more, it's about allowing. It's about giving yourself permission to move through the shifts with gentleness and awareness. But there are some spiritual practices and mindset shifts that can help you move through this time with far more ease. First, create space for stillness. If you can, lighten your schedule around the eclipse days. Once again, as I'm recording this, that'll be September 7th. That's our first one, the lunar eclipse. So clear your schedule if you can. Don't pack your calendar full of obligations and leave room for rest. Eclipses are energetically intense. Your spirit is processing huge downloads and adjustments. Even if your mind doesn't fully understand them, sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is to take a nap, step outside to breathe, or allow yourself to simply sit in silence. Second, pay attention to your dreams and intuition. Eclipses open doorways, and spirit loves to send messages through dreams during this time. Keep a notebook or journal by your bed. Write down anything you remember, even if it seems random or relatively small. Often you'll look back later and see that those dreams carried guidance for your path ahead. During the day, notice your intuition too. Those little nudges, those gut feelings, and those synchronicities, they mean something. Third, nourish your body as much as your spirit. During eclipses, people sometimes feel exhausted, achy, or even emotionally heavy. Drink more water than usual. I know, I'm not a water fan, and I hate to be told hydrate, but stinking hydrate, all right? Hydrate anyway. Drink more water than usual. Eat grounding foods like root vegetables. And let your body move in gentle ways. Yoga, stretching, walking. Your body is your vessel for these cosmic upgrades, so honor it. Fourth, release the pressure to manifest. This is a big one. Normally, at a new moon or full moon, we set intentions, we manifest, we burn papers, we do rituals. But eclipses are different. They are moments of surrender. Instead of asking, how can I get what I want? Shift into, how can I trust the universe to bring me what I need? This takes the pressure off of you and places it into divine hands where it belongs. Fifth, ground yourself in nature. Eclipses can be otherworldly, so grounding becomes your anchor. Go outside and put your bare feet on the earth. Touch a tree. Hell, hug a tree. Why not? Sit under the sky. Even 5 minutes can make a difference. If you can't go outside, bring nature to you. Plants, crystals, or even a bowl of water with a little salt in it to remind your body of the earth's grounding energy. Sixth, lean into community and safe connections. Sometimes eclipses can make us want to isolate. And yes, time alone is important. But remember, you're not the only one feeling the waves of this energy. Reach out to people who understand your journey. Share your feelings with trusted friends, your soul tribe, or supportive spaces like this podcast. Community reminds us we are not alone in these shifts. Seventh, be compassionate with yourself. If you cry, that's okay. If you feel unmotivated, that's okay. If old wounds surface, that's okay. Eclipses are not about perfection, they're about transformation. And transformation is often messy. Be gentle with yourself the way you would with a child learning something new. And finally, remind yourself daily that the universe has a plan. Eclipses can feel like chaos, but they are organized chaos. They are sacred recalibrations. When something leaves or when something begins, it's because your soul asked for this growth before you even came here. Whisper to yourself, I trust the process. I trust the timing. I trust that the universe is guiding me exactly where I'm meant to be. Let's anchor that with a few affirmations you can repeat during this season. Here they are. I trust the wisdom of the universe. I release what no longer serves me. I allow endings to make space for new beginnings. I am safe. I am guided. I am aligned. Now take a deep breath in and exhale. Let those affirmations settle into your heart. Now I want to share something that forever changed the way I see eclipse energy. There was an eclipse season in my life where everything I thought was certain, that I thought was certain, ended. And at the center of that was the ending of my twin flame connection. It wasn't necessarily an ending per se, but an ending of our actually connecting in the 3D. This wasn't just any relationship. It wasn't karmic. It wasn't casual. It wasn't something that could be replaced. It was my mirror, my twin flame, the person who reflected back the deepest truths of my soul. Being in that connection felt like standing in front of a sacred fire, at times warm and beautiful, at times scorching, but always undeniable. I could see myself more clearly through him than I ever had before, and than I ever will again. And because of that, walking away, or rather being pulled away by the energy of the eclipse, felt like having part of my soul ripped out of my body. When that ending came, I wasn't ready. Eclipse energy never waits for you to be ready, it just arrives. And I remember the moment so vividly, the feeling of finality, the silence where there had once always been connection, the ache in my chest that words really couldn't capture. At first, I resisted. I told myself it wasn't over. I clung to the idea that twin flames are eternal, and in many ways, I still believe that. The bond doesn't die, but what ended in that eclipse season was the physical connection, the earthly tie. And although we did resolve things and there was forgiveness given, and we have been very friendly after that point, my human self was devastated in that moment. I went through waves of grief, denial, anger, bargaining, depression. I would wake up in the middle of the night with tears soaking my pillow. I would feel him in my dreams only to wake up and remember he was no longer there in my waking life. But slowly, with time and a whole hell of a lot of shadow work and healing, I began to see what Spirit was doing. That eclipse wasn't punishment, it wasn't cruelty, it was a cosmic reset. Spirit knew that if I stayed in that connection the way it was at that time, I would not step into the fullness of who I'm meant to be, nor would he. Eclipses clear space, and as painful as it was, Spirit cleared that space so I could come into my own power. It forced me to stop looking for validation in someone else's reflection and start finding it within myself. The, the change that occurred within me over the next few years after that eclipse was so incredibly needed. It was painful, yes. It stripped me of everything that I thought I knew about myself. But in that process, it helped me to rebuild, to confront the deepest wounds of my life: abandonment, rejection, fear of unworthiness. And it pushed me to heal them in ways I never would have otherwise. And I came out of that eclipse not just broken, but rebuilt, no longer broken, a new woman, stronger, wiser, and more connected than ever with my purpose. And here's what I want you to know if you're walking through something similar. Just because a connection ends in the physical doesn't mean it wasn't real. It doesn't mean it wasn't sacred. Sometimes love itself is eternal. Even when the earthly bond dissolves, the eclipse doesn't erase my twin flame. It expanded me through the pain of letting go. Now, to be clear, if you're a twin flame, you still feel their energy on a daily basis, well, nearly daily. And so you're never truly apart from them. But you each have individual growth and you each have individual direction that you need to be heading in. If that should so reconvene at some point in time, then that's what was meant to happen. But if it doesn't, you still are incredibly strong in your own right, and you still have a mission and a purpose to withhold. You still have to follow your true north. An eclipse is going to make you do that. The eclipse didn't erase my twin flame, but it expanded me through the pain of letting go. So if you're listening to this right now and you're in the middle of your own heartbreak, your own loss, your own sudden ending, please remember you're not being punished. You're being redirected. Spirit is reshaping your path, even if it doesn't make sense yet. Eclipses rarely make sense in the moment, but years later, you can look back like I did and say, that was the moment that changed everything. That was when I began to rise. Eclipse season is not something to fear. It is sacred. It is powerful. And yes, it is emotional. But it is also the way spirit clears what no longer serves and prepares us for what is next. If you're moving through endings right now, know this: endings are beginnings in disguise. You may not see the new chapter yet, but it is already waiting for you. So be gentle with yourself. Trust the process and let eclipse season show you just how strong, how resilient, and how divinely guided you are. If this episode spoke to your heart, please share it with someone who might need this reminder. And if you'd like deeper support on your journey, you can connect with me at oceanmoonflower.com, where you'll find tarot readings, astrology reports, and other offerings created to guide you back to your light. And if you happen to be my twin flame that is listening, just know the promise I made in June of that same year that the eclipse occurred, I still withhold. Just saying. Until next time, my loves, remember, you are starlight embodied, you are magic walking this earth, and the cosmos is always guiding you. Aloha, beautiful souls. Mahalo, nui, loa for chiming in today. And until our next podcast, ta ta for now.